there's this movie that exists out in the world for some reason, and it's called Sharp Corner. The film came out in 2024, and it's directed by a man named Jason Buxton, and this is only his second feature film. The film stars Ben Foster of X-Men The Last Stand, Hell or High Water, and Warcraft fame. He plays a family man with his wife and his 6-year-old son, and they just recently moved into this house. And right in front of this house is like a very sharp corner, you know, and it's a kind of like a dangerous corner for like cars to turn and stuff. And one night is one of the very first nights that you know, they first moved into this house, because you know, they're freshly moved in. Ben Foster, you know, you see what he and his wife, they decided to have sex, and they're having sex, and it's like they're just having sex. And then all of a sudden something crashes through their bedroom window and interrupts them having sex, and then they get up, and then Ben Foster's character looks out the window, and then he sees a car, and a car crashed into this pole. And so him and his wife, they start rushing down there, and they go to check on the guy, and it looks like it's not looking good for the guy. It's a really ugly crash, and it's a pretty traumatic experience for the guy, and he tries to learn how to cope with it and how to deal with it, and, you know, the grief of like having to deal with what he just witnessed, and he somehow starts to feel responsible for it. And then a little bit later on, the same fucking thing happens where somebody crashes, you know, because of that sharp corner in the front of his house, and then he has to deal with this another car accident, this other person who, you know, there's a lot of people who die in these accidents too, that you know, that happened right in front of his house with his 6-year-old son and wife. And so the movie, this movie Sharp Corner, is about this guy, and he's kind of spiraling into madness as he's dealing with, like, you know, the grief and the guilt of all these car accidents that are happening right in front of his house because of this super dangerous sharp corner, and, you know, the city's not fucking doing anything about it, so he has to deal with them too. And that's kind of what the movie's about. And then, like, kind of later on in the movie too, you know, not to get into spoilers, I don't know if you guys are actually gonna watch this movie or not, just kind of watch it and let you know it exists. I mean, if you want to watch it, do what you want to do. But spoilers, later on in the movie, it kind of starts to affect, you know, their relationship with his wife and his son, and, you know, he becomes so obsessed with this phenomenon that is happening right in front of his house because he wants to help these people, but he doesn't know how to. It somehow starts to affect his wife and kids, and, you know, they eventually end up leaving him because he's just so dead focused on this sharp corner. And and the movie's just kind of about that. It's a pretty insane concept for a movie, and the thing is, the movie's kind of, it's very serious too. It's more serious than you think it is, at least, like, they treat it very seriously, like, the, you know, the subject matter and the content. I think the beginning is meant to be a little bit comedic because, you know, the wife and the husband are having sex, and then all of a sudden they just have to deal with, like, this super traumatic experience. I think the juxtaposition of those two things is supposed to be intentionally funny, but as for the rest of the movie, it's pretty dark. It's kind of bleak. There's some spurts of dark comedy in there, but for the most part, this is kind of like a flat-out drama thriller, bro. Like, this is just a movie about a guy who's going insane about this sharp corner in front of his house, and I just thought that you guys should know about it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's Sharp Corner for you. I really have nothing much else to say about it. If you're interested in watching it, just go check it out for yourself. Overall, I would probably give the movie a 7 out of 10. It's definitely worth a watch. It's pretty solid. It's pretty well acted all around, and it's pretty well made. You know, it's not a bad movie at all by any means. But yeah, check it out. It might be worth a watch for you. I just want to let you know about it, that it exists. There's movies like this that exist, and I'm here to tell you about them. I'm Jacob Colossi. This is Ultimately Jacob. Signing out. See ya.